role, I guess, was shared between Marcus and Maxi last night, and they kind of went after both of them. Do you see the side as still sticking with the way you've gone with the specialist quicks and having that fifth bowler role shared? And do you think other teams might look to target that sort of fifth bowler sharing role?
I think it's worked really well for us against South Africa. A night like last night, a couple of the bigger overs, but I think the flexibility that structure gives us is just huge. Maxi bowling one in the first six, that now means Starkey can have an extra over through the middle. You saw he took a couple of overs in those couple of wickets in the middle overs. That's because we were able to have someone like Maxi bowl early. Stoyne still hasn't bowled a lot in the last little bit, but we know how much of an impact he can be with the ball, let alone having the option to now have that extra batter. And I think we're really well suited. We're covering a lot of areas with that fifth bowler. We've got Maxwell, Stoinis, Marsh, all who can contribute those 4 overs. So it might change, but at the moment I feel like whichever way we go, we've got plenty of options.
Thanks, Pat. Awesome.
John Etheridge, and if there's any questions after John, please raise your hand. John?
Hi, morning. David Warner's been a bit short of runs until last night. How important is it to your team to have Warner scoring runs and playing well at the top of the order there?
Davey's a huge player for us. For the last decade, he's been huge for Australian cricket. I think as well, opening the batting, that's where you can really set up the innings. You saw yesterday, the way him and Finchy took the game on. It makes those kind of 150 targets either tough to get, or you feel like you're well ahead of the run rate straight away. So he was fantastic. He's also another player that he's a big game player. He likes taking on the big teams. I'm sure tomorrow you'll see him puffing his chest out, and he's someone that our whole team absolutely loves playing alongside. We all go with him and back him up, and fantastic to see him back in runs. He's such a good player. We always knew that they weren't far away.
Not a guy who gets down during a lean patch.
I think, like all the great players, there's huge expectations that he puts on himself. So he's been around enough to know that runs aren't too far away. It's frustrating, but every player that's been around for a decade kind of goes through those patches. So he's been fantastic around the group. The last couple of weeks he's been great. So he's his own harshest critic. It was great to see him get some runs yesterday.
Do you expect him to open the batting in the Ashes?
Yeah.
You might say that. Cheers, thank you.
Shane Hope.
Just following on from that, Pat, Aaron Finch, nice to see him get some runs at the top as well. Yeah,
spot on. Another one who's done really well to come back from injury, and hasn't played a heap of cricket over the last few months. And I thought he looked fantastic. Yesterday again, taking the game on. A couple of his trademark big hits down the ground. Wonderful opening partnership, those two. Showing how good they are, and they're going to be huge for us.
And just on England, is it possible to strike any sort of psychological blow ahead of the summer out here by beating them in this game coming up?
Perhaps, but as I said, I think there's only a couple of players that will. The majority of the side are mainly white ball players, so maybe 1 or 2 players, but different format. It's I wouldn't read into it too much.
Laura Spurway.
Hi, Pat. Congrats on the win. I was a couple of minutes late, so sorry if someone's already asked this, but I just wondered how you're going being away from home. I know you've got a brand newbie, a really little one back at home, and families haven't been able to travel like you might have been accustomed to in the past. So how are you dealing with all of that?
Yeah, thanks for that, Laura. Not too bad, thanks. It's Becky's been great back home. Missing being home and missing those first couple of weeks, but hopefully basically as soon as we fly back into Australia, we'll be able to see them in quarantine. But it's been tough. FaceTime's been great. spent a lot of time on FaceTime, and yeah, it's a World Cup, so that makes it all a little bit easier. I wouldn't, although I'd love to be there, yeah, pretty lucky to be here in a World Cup.
Andrew Wood.
Yeah, g'day, Pat. Well done on last night. On the form of your two openers, Aaron and Dave Warner, do you feel like now that they've got a few runs under their belt that you've got one of the big pieces of the puzzle back to have success in this tournament?
Yeah, I think you saw yesterday, how you can make a reasonable chase look pretty good if you get off to a good start. And I think, those first 6 overs, the power play is huge. Having confident batters in form that can really take that apart is just huge. Sets up the whole bat inning. So, I think another great thing about these first 2 games is it feels like everyone in the 11s played a huge role. Just about everyone's fired and, is riding high in confidence. So, yeah, it feels like it's all coming together.
Do you see England as the benchmark? I know they're the world champions in 50 over cricket, but do you see them as the team to beat in this tournament?
I'd say they're probably one of 4 or 5 teams, to be honest. It's a format where you feel like anyone on their day, I guess the top 3, 4, 5 teams could beat anyone else. So yeah, they're right up there. They're right in that top tier.
Cheers.
Thanks, Andrew. Looks like that's all of the questions, guys. So thanks so much for everyone for joining today. Sorry we had to shuffle things around a little bit the last few days, but we'll be back on target from here on in. We'll catch up with you guys probably after the game tomorrow night. Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate the sleeping. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Pat.
Thanks, Pat. Thanks, Cole. Thanks, everyone.
Stay there, mate.
Thanks very much, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for joining us for this pre-match press conference ahead of tomorrow's match, England versus Australia. We're joined by Pat Cummins of Cricket Australia.